Needless to say, I'm a man that requires a little direction.
As promised, we're back this week on the KLX 110 build. We're gonna turn this little motor into a fire-breathing monster. Well, that might be exaggerating and pushing it a little bit. It's gonna be fast. But before we get into that, let's get into some B-roll of the stock motor because I just got a new gimbal and I really fucking wanna use it. And here we have the whole pile of bolt-ons that's going inside this thing. For comparison, some bikes get breasts, this bike's getting titties. We got the whole TV parts 143 big bore kit with the race head, with the heavy duty clutch, 26 mil carb, little engine dress up kit, a few other little things that are gonna go inside here. Obviously the 143 cylinder and piston is gonna step it up a pretty large amount from the 110. This V2 race head, it's already got the cam installed. It's got the race cam as well in there. Apparently that makes a huge power gain as opposed to just running this cylinder by itself, which is obvious that's gonna do that. I haven't ridden one with one of these on there yet, so I'm very excited to see what that's gonna feel like. The Mikuni VM26 carb because we need all the fuel and air we can get to push this big bastard. And the heavy duty clutch because without that, all this power isn't gonna get to the ground. But let's game plan what we're doing here today. So obviously we gotta tear into this thing to start putting that whole kit together, but before we start tearing into it, there's a couple things that I wanted to do first. The first thing I really wanna do is shine up these engine cases because stock, they just don't look too pretty, and we're trying to build a really nice bike here. So one way we do that is by hammering them with red emery cloth, Scotch-Brite, whatever you want to call it. So we're gonna smooth it all out with that. It leaves like a really nice kind of brushed aluminum shiny finish on it, and then after that's done, we'll hit it with aluminum cleaner, which will really brighten it up and make it look like a semi-polished kind of finish. We don't want a polished finish because polished looks stupid on a motor, but it'll look good. And normally when I do that, I fully disassemble the motor and split the cases and do all that, and then do the cases on their own. It's a lot easier to do it, but in this case, we don't have to crack open the bottom end, so it's really not worth it to spend all that extra time and money on gaskets and seals and splitting apart things that don't need to be split apart right now. So we're gonna do it just with the motor assembled right now. So before we do anything to the motor, we're gonna try and get most of that stuff done, because if we start opening stuff up, obviously pieces of that Scotch-Brite are gonna fall in there. Some of the sanding stuff is gonna get in there. We don't want stuff getting in the motor. Those little kids are annoying the crap out of me, they're distracting. And then while it's apart, to put in the big bore kit and all that stuff, we're gonna take these clutch and ignition covers and probably a couple other little covers on the motor that I saw and powder coat those things black because, well, this looks terrible. And we can powder coat here, so why the hell not? We're about to get into it, but we've got some help here today. Guess what this fucking guy's name is? It's Lee Squared in the house, coming at you. All right, let's get to work. Let's tear into this thing. I haven't torn into a motor in like 3 or 4 years. I'm a little nervous. Let's do this. Well, that's one disassembled top end. That's really as far as we need to go on the motor. Now I can get in and finish scuffing up all these areas where the cylinder was covering up, so I can finish that shit. Next step, we're gonna pull this clutch cover off, take it all apart, take apart the ignition cover, we're gonna sandblast those, powder coat them black, and then put the power in this bad boy, which I'm gonna do tomorrow. This is now a 2-day video because it's late. But let's hear for this guy, other Lee over here. That was all his filming that you just watched, so if this video sucks, you can fucking blame him. You got nothing for that?
I don't.
How do you feel about it? You feel like it was good?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah, how do you feel about it? Not them.
I think it's gonna be your fucking best video yet, to be honest.
That's some serious confidence right there. I don't know. I think he's topping my filming. Question is, why you're sitting next to a battery with booster cables? You hook those up to your nips right away, or what? What's the deal here? I'm actually thinking of making Team Lee Squared a full-time deal. Maybe hiring this guy to come on and film our shit. Let me know down in the comments how his footage was. But yeah, I'm gonna continue this whole deal tomorrow, so let's spin to then. And we're back. Man, I've only had help filming one time now, and I already hate the fact that I gotta film the rest of this by myself. I looked at a few of his clips last night. Some of them are looking pretty spicy. Might need to bring him on full time. But I'm back on this bastard today. I definitely need to do a little bit of a better job shining up these cases, but we'll worry about that later. First, let's get to some powder coating. We're gonna do the clutch cover, gonna do the ignition cover. I gotta pull the coil and stuff out of there first, and we're gonna do the little oil filter cover. Even though you can't really see it, I'll know it's there, and I'll know it's not done right, so we're doing that too. And all the rest of the stuff that should be done, we don't have to do because we got that whole black anodized billet engine dress-up kit, so yeah. But anyways, I gotta pull this shit all apart, clean it, sandblast it, powder coat it, so let's get to work. I need to get a new sandblasting setup. Every time I use that thing, I bring half of it back out with me. Makes me hate having to powder coat stuff. And I like powder coating stuff because it looks cool, but the blasting part sucks. I need a real sandblaster. So while we wait on that, let's get the clutch in this bad boy. I decided to leave it with the semi-auto clutch instead of going with the full manual one because, to be honest, I like having the free hand, and to me, a mini bike with a full manual clutch on it just doesn't feel like a mini bike anymore. So I already got most of it torn apart. I just gotta pull off the centrifugal clutch flywheel here, and then pull the plates, springs, all that stuff out of here, put the new stuff back on, put it back together. And I should have clarified this earlier. If you came to this video thinking that any of this build is gonna be like a how-to thing, it ain't. I know none of this big bore kit, clutch kit, any of that, none of it comes with instructions. So look around the internet, you'll find what you're looking for. As for this video, we're just here to see a motor get built and see some cool footage. All right, cool. Gloss black turned out just money. I obviously can't put this one on yet because it's time to put the power in this thing, and I gotta be able to find top dead center. The one bummer that I just discovered with this kit, and maybe it's just something that I probably overlooked, is that it did not come with any new cylinder dowel pins, which the ones in the stock cylinder were so seized up in there. There was one of them that I could not get out. I sat there with the torch on that thing. I heated it up so much actually that the sleeve dropped right out of the stock cylinder. So for a few minutes, it looked like this motor build was gonna be at a dead stop for like a week thanks to a $1.50, $2 part. But then I remembered, hey man, I got a lathe over there. So I took a slightly larger dowel pin from a bigger bike, stuck it on there, machined her down, and perfect. That little cheap piece of crap lathe has saved me more times than I can count. So yeah, let's build this big bore. Dude, that is looking super dope already. We're pretty much there. I'm just gonna put on the manifold, put the starter and starter gear back in, button everything up, do a little final cleanup, and we're done. Woohoo! This little monster is all done. It looks so sick. I need to go get cleaned up. So while that's going on, let's have a look at what we made. This little guy is so sick, I cannot wait to feel what the power is like in this motor. And that's not all I'm doing to it yet. We still have a couple more go fast parts that are external, but will feed this motor a little bit more juice. And what can I say? I need it to haul my fat ass around. But yeah, I'm pretty pumped with the way this thing turned out. The only thing that I kind of cut a corner on was the Scotch brighting of the engine cases, because like, you can spend hours, even days, in getting those things perfect and shined right up. Whereas right now, the shop and 38 Rideco are so insanely busy that I only have like a couple hours a day to work on this project. So that was one thing where I had to make a little bit of a sacrifice and just say, let's get this done. That being said though, knowing myself, a month down the road, I'm gonna end up pulling that motor out and spending like 2 days shining that thing up because it's gonna bother the hell out of me after today. We still got a long way to go on this build, but now that the motor's done, we can start kind of making this thing look like a bike again. We can mount the frame to it, all the electrical and a bunch of the other stuff. So in the next build video, I think that's exactly what we're gonna do. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and if you're watching this right now, the new 38 Rideco collection just dropped. So click the link down below, pick something up. It goes a long way towards supporting this channel, making more builds happen, and more importantly, getting me riding again. Plus, it's definitely the best stuff me and Dan have ever made up to this point. I'm super proud of it, and probably gonna wear nothing but that for the foreseeable future. But drop a like on this thing for me. I'll be chatting with you guys down below. We'll see you again in the next one.